computer issues, but they seem to be solved now. Unfortunately, now the fellow I was planning to go bounty hunting with, now he's having computer issues, so I'm gonna go do some trade instead. I'll try anyway. We'll see how it works out. Check. I didn't buy it, I made it. Yes, Matt, I got it. We're good. I am, however, in the wrong system. Sprecher is my favorite root beer. space by buying at one station and buying another. All of the little dots represent star systems that you can visit. They have mapped the entire Milky Way galaxy. All 400 billion stars. Which technically you can get to them all, you just wouldn't live long enough to get to very many of them, relatively speaking. It's multiplayer, though you can play in what's called solo mode, where it's just you playing with the NPCs, or you can play in just a group of you and your friends, so you only have to play with the people you want to play with. Or you can play in open mode and deal with what happens when you play in open mode. Yeah, it's a fun game. There's exploration, there's combat, there's bounty hunting, there's wars, there's mining. Why do you keep defaulting to that? Because I'm not logged in. Okay. I probably watched Firefly for the first time before you were born. Ah, jeez. Try not to fly into the pulsar. Now we're still waiting on carriers. They were supposed to come out the end of last year, but apparently they decided they didn't have it quite ironed out, so they delayed it, and we don't know when they're going to come out, or when, or how much they're going to cost, or anything like that. I love Firefly. It's one of the greatest shows that I've ever seen. And Serenity was also amazing. Part of me kind of thinks that it's good that the show got canceled before they ran out of ideas, but I think they had at least a couple more seasons of good stuff before it jumped the shark. Which episode are you on? Yeah, 3 years would have been about right, I think. Stampede is still one of my favorite blasters just because of the noise, honestly. I like the recoil and I like the decidedly spacey sound that it makes. Alright. Kneecaps. Somewhat fuzzy on the subject of kneecaps. Side of this trip. Oh well. Yeah, Luchasaur's good people. I'm glad I met him. Hey, I was the one who had computer problems first, Snorri. Did you ever get... Well, obviously you got back on your computer.
Grutamaya Echo X-Ray Alpha. The Imperial Flight Operations Bureau welcomes you to our territory. We are honored by your visit. Station services have been informed of your arrival. Access permitted. Please make your way to landing pad 10. You are clear for automated approach, Commander.
Yeah, I believe a bunch of us were in my shop when he was having his chimed in with comments. The nerd subreddit? There's a nerd subreddit? Oh, nerd.
Please stay on current course.
Entirely as a cesspool of anger and angst, and there's just nothing good there at all. Why wouldn't we allow furries?
200 meters from touchdown.
Two of my youngest sisters are furries. What's your problem with them? I recommend leaving.
Safe and secure. Initiating lockdown procedures. Enjoy your stay, Commander. Your comfort is our top priority.
Now that would be cool. Mal's pistol as Nerf would be gorgeous. Alright, we're in. Let's go. No, actually, I'd like some answers. If you're going to come to my stream with bigotry, I'd like some answers. Especially one that involves my family and friends. A scrap merchant. I don't even know where is scrap in this? Oh, there it is. Scrap. Apparently we want scrap.
The discourtesy of engaging in aggressive acts within and around the
Where am I going with this scrap?
Detachment sequence complete. Please observe safe speeds when traversing the docking bay.
We'll see if it's actually as lucrative as they say it, which would be amazing.
Visitors are welcome.
Who's responding to what? Sorry, I was dealing with my trade route. It still wasn't fully set up, so I've lost track of the chat. This is played on a computer. It is also, I think, available on one of the consoles, but I don't remember which one. Probably Xbox. Can't imagine trying to play this without this setup, though.
Come in, flight control. This is Corsair. Roger that, Commander. You are go for VTO.
Planning to hopefully get it uploaded tomorrow, the video on you guys.
You are predetermined flight path of the Imperial Flight Operations Bureau. Wish you a safe onward journey.
Oh, it's on both? I didn't know it was on both consoles. Cool. Though I don't think they're on the same server, so Xbox people can only play with Xbox folks, and PlayStation folk can only play with PlayStation folks. Oh, it's a lot of fun. It is a great deal of fun. Oh my God, why am I in this handbasket? Alright, I am headed to Corte Real City. Got it. Yeah, me too. I've got to get one of those Hurricanes. I also got all the stuff to upgrade it, because that looks like it's going to be the next video on fully upgrading after the fire strike. I missed my turn. Missed my exit. Well, it's only 10:50 where I am. It's not that late on a Friday night. Yeah, well, technically, we already do. They're already, we've had, in fact, the last stream I had, we had an auxiliary in the wing, along with my lieutenant, the law speaker.
for approach to landing pad 10. You're approved for automated docking sequence.
Crater Bravo 1 Victor, unable to comply. Reroute to sector 875 and await further instructions.
Yeah, I made my trip to Colonia. I don't plan to go back anytime soon. I do need to do the fucking ball run. I still haven't been to the ledge.
I did not appreciate my flippant attitude.
Clearly not. That will teach him. Or he was too busy helping me. My pathetic reason.
I couldn't get Discord to work, and I tried to open something else, and then they both froze, and I didn't close delete before I did it. Anyway.
I run Ire on a 6 kilogram spring, and she doesn't have metal gears, and I've yet to have a problem. Once you go past 8 is when you really start running into issues. Anyway, yeah, this trade route is supposedly worth 9,200
Landing completed. Deactivating docking systems. Station facilities are
I remember when we thought, 1,700 was amazing.
Well, that was back then. 1,700 was a lot. This, I'll be honest though, the increase in profits from trade runs and from mining makes me feel like they're probably going to make carriers stupidly expensive.
Yeah, there's a good chance of that. Well, it looks like it's not going to be quite as profitable as the route said, because the scrap didn't come in for nearly as much as it predicted. Let's see if the polymers is still good. This route's not that old. Polymers. If I were polymer, there we go. Well, the polymers are cheap here. The worst case scenario, I'm going to be out 55 grand. We'll see if they're actually worth what they're supposed to be worth on the next system. Where are you, by the way?
I am jumping into Cayenne Nachi.
I'll hold here then. Oh, actually, there's no reason to hold here. I'll wait for you on the other one. That's where the good stuff is, I think.
Corto Real City.
Ship is released. Depart safely from the station.
And then the other one is Zakbar. Port Bucel.
Yeah, I'm en route to Corto Real.
Hotel 55, commencing live fire training scenario.
Would be.
Oh, it's only 15 light seconds out, so that's not
Oh, yeah.
far out.
I blew past it without even blinking. Good night, Caleb.
Possible crew undetected in this vicinity. Coordinates to follow.
Scrap was barely worth picking up, honestly. So, I've made less profit. Okay, where am I going? I'm going to... that's where I am. That's where I'm at. Golden Hind is in system. Nice meeting you here, sir.
I don't think my mic is being weird. They shouldn't be able to hear me.
No, they shouldn't. Doesn't mean they can't. Can you guys hear the loudspeaker? The guy I'm talking to? Or...
If so, I will make sure to refrain from inappropriate language.
Vulgarities. Apparently they can hear you.
Oh. Very well then. So what are we purchasing here at Puerto Real?
Polymers. That's where we're picking up the polymers.
Over.
Not using
the Imperial Flight Operations Bureau welcomes you to our territory.
Webcam mic
We are
at all.
honored by your visit. Station services have been informed of your arrival.
Let me get my docking computer going and I'll see if I can't fix that.
Approval granted. Plot route for approach to landing pad 09er.
Yeah, I don't think it's on my end.
No, it's mine.
Quit checking on my connection.
Alright. That should have fixed the audio, maybe? Question mark? I don't know if they can still hear you. Yeah, there you go.
You are clear for automated approach, Commander.
Can? Okay. Yes, lag is fun. Yeah, in order to fix the camera, I had to create a whole new setup in my streaming software, and I didn't switch the audios back over. Yeah, seems like they can. Very well, you may proceed with the vulgarities, sir. You shall have to curse for the both of us, for there are still children. You are going to Port Buchel. Enough with your logic, sir. Yeah, see? Young whippersnappers. Up late. Tuh. There are a whole bunch of ships floating stagnant in here. Yeah, especially since they have now stagnated me. What's going on here? Where's my landing pad and why can I not land on it? Land me, you thing. There were all sorts of things floating around. So this game is Elite Dangerous, and it is a space simulator. They have mapped the entire Milky Way galaxy, and the goal is to have fun. You can be a bounty hunter, you can be a pirate, you can go to war zones, you can do trade, you can do politics, you can do exploration. You can fight the Thargoids, the evil aliens that are trying to wipe us out. Creepy bugmen. Random Nerf, have you ever snapped a whip in your life? Oh yeah. Indeed, the polymers are worth 8,800 here. Yeah, that's 6 million. 6.3 million credits per round trip. Yeah, the scrap's only making like 100 profit, but yeah. Yeah, I suppose it depends on which way you're going. Alright. I should have waited until you were in system to sell that. What am I doing? Did you get credit? Oh, you did? Oh, good. Oh, you just have to be in the same system? Or just in a wing? What? Oh. Cool. No vulgarities for you. None. I see. Did I refuel? Okay, refuel. Okay. Let me know when you're ready to launch. You have sold. Okay, I'm launching. Wrong button. There we go. Charting back to Court Real. Court Real. Six? Good Lord. Apparently. Weren't you at like 5 yesterday? Good lord. Okay. Gonna. And how long does a mining run? Good lord. Why am I doing trade? Yeah. I see. Yes, that would rather put a damper on my whole relaxing and doing trade setup.
You are now clear of the station. The Imperial Flight Operations Bureau wish you a safe onward journey.
No, no. Yeah. What do I think about a light command with an 80-round belt? Sounds cumbersome. Unless you had either a bucket to hold the belt or a 2-man crew to run it. That would be neat, though. A crew-served light command would be something to see. I've seen crew-served Vulcans, of course, but... Which comment? What comment? I read a comment? What'd I do? Yeah, of course, you're welcome. I'm so magnanimous and wonderful. What comment is he talking about? I think he's making stuff up. No. 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 I'm gonna try. I don't know if he might be talking about it being in a video, for all I know. Explain yourself, TNS Gaming. Hello. Oh, you see. Ah, yes.
Echo X-ray Alpha. You may access this station by submitting a prior request.
Yeah, people occasionally comment, you're never going to see this comment, but, something when they're putting it on an old video. But the way the YouTube dashboard works, no matter how old the video is, I get notified of all new comments. I don't get notified of new replies, which is irritating, because it means if I'm having a conversation with someone in the comment section, it's going to get buried and I'm never going to see it again. It also makes it hard to spot when people start flame wars, because I don't get notified of their replies, and occasionally someone will mention it, or they'll finally get bad enough that their comment will get flagged, and then I'll see it. And then I'll, have to yell at everybody for, what are you doing? Behave yourselves, you know better. But what are you going to do? Are you the one that I'm waiting in queue for, Your Majesty? Well, after you, Your Majesty. No, is it too late for that, sir? Too late! Is there any use for the Air Warriors Wizard? Yes! If you pull the trigger, darts come out, and you can hit people with them in a Nerf war. You have to prime it, though, and then put darts in the barrel, and then... Like the one thing that I was able to make a shotgun out of it by drilling additional holes so it fires 2 at a time, alternating, because it has a fairly decent plunger tube, and it would undermount very nicely because of because it's similar to the Baron, which means it makes a decent undermount blaster. So you could have a pump action 2-shot, 2-dart shotgun. That would be useful. Joining the Auxiliary's Discord would make you a member of the Auxiliary. That's how that works. Alright, here we are, selling scrap. How has it come to this? Oh, well, fair enough. Scrap. Oh, okay, the profit isn't bad. Okay. I was seeing it as a 100 profit. It's actually 300 profit. So I mean that's no 8,800, but you know. Polymers. Buy the polymers. I am a fan of cheese myself. What is your favorite kind of cheese? Well, as the stream title would suggest, this is Elite Dangerous. You don't have to be able to attend events to be in the Auxiliary. The only requirement to become a member of the Auxiliary is wanting to become a member of the Auxiliary. There is no age limit, there's no attendance requirement, you just have to want to be a part. How to get started in Elite Dangerous? Well, missions. Because you start in a ship that's useless for trade, and you don't have any money. So you're going to have to do missions in order to make some capital. Buy yourself a better ship, one that's actually got cargo capacity, do some trade runs, buy yourself a better ship, and so on and so forth. Kind of depends on what you want to do. If you want to do exploration, it's actually fairly easy to get into that because there are some smaller ships that can have a decent jump range. If you want to just get straight into bounty hunting, then get yourself an Eagle or a Viper, one of the fighters, and go hunt bad guys. If you're really lucky, you'll have friends who play and who already have huge ships and can either help you bounty hunt or can help you trade. Because there is no way in the game to just give somebody your credits. But if you can now join me on my ship, and if you're in my ship when I do trade runs, you just get money for being there, whether you do anything or not. Yeah, you're supposed to be making yourself useful, but you don't have to. Yeah, I've never been a fan of brie. I'm a cheddar man myself, deep down. I do like a good fresh mozzarella, though. Edam, I do like a good Edam. Gouda, I do. Can't say no to a good Gouda. What? How very dare they? Who would have the temerity to interdict a king? Have I ever played Man of War Assault Squad? Never heard of it. Cool. Yeah, that's one of the nice things about a lot of the Busby blasters is they're similar in dimensions to a lot of Nerf blasters, but they have to be heavier because, I don't know, their blaster designs, either they're inherently more powerful or their blasters are just less efficient, and so they lose a lot of power.
Permission granted. Set course for landing pad 4. You are clear for automated approach, Commander.
Right now we're doing trade. We are also big fans of bounty hunting. We'll go to a resource extraction site and hunt pirates just because it's fun. The Law Speaker, who I'm gaming with right now, has recently got into mining, which is apparently the most lucrative thing the game has yet come out with. But it requires a lot more attention. Both bounty hunting and mining require more attention than trade, which is flying back and forth, and half the time you're auto-docking anyway, so I prefer to do that when I'm just looking to unwind, and so that I can, read the chat and talk to you guys. And it does make good. I mean, we're making 6.5 million a round trip, which I don't know how long a trip is, and so I couldn't tell you exactly how much we're making. Yeah, flight simulators have never given me motion sickness. It's only first-person shooters and third-person and driving games are the worst. Though, oddly enough, there are a couple of side-scrollers, like Mario-style games, that used to make me sick, but not all. It's kind of, you never know. But flight sims don't, because the vast majority of what you see in the game is just space. So there's nothing to really make me motion sick. Ah, holds! Yeah! My scroll has lost its mind. Yep. Destroy that scrap pile. And then the Nazis launch a torpedo with a goat in it. You heard me. Old Daffy Duck cartoon. Yeah. Nazi goats. Yeah. Apparently, collecting scrap, was a big thing during the war for making stuff out of. And so they made a propaganda video about the importance of scrap, and Daffy Duck was protecting the scrap pile, and apparently it got Adolf all riled up, so he sent a secret, covert Nazi goat to eat the scrap pile. Like you do. I'm sure I don't know what you're talking about. Why is scrap a biohazard? What kind of scrap is... It's people parts, isn't it? It's people scraps. Stamp. Go ahead. Is there? That I could understand. How much is the base game now? I think the original one is something like $40. But it's available through Steam, so it could be a quarter for all I know. There are technically two different games. There's Elite Dangerous and Elite Dangerous Horizons, which is the one that lets you land on planets. Though you can play no matter which version you have. Yes, actually, what it's referred to as is simulation sickness. And the current theory is that when your brain sees motion, that it's not feeling. Because you see, like, if you're playing a first-person shooter and your character's running and bobbing, but you're not running and bobbing, your brain interprets that essentially as a hallucination. And the most common autoimmune response to hallucinations is to induce motion sickness and thus vomiting, because the most common cause for hallucination is poisoning. So it's essentially an autoimmune disease. Whereas other people have the problem of they will feel motion that they don't see, which is why they get sick on boats or planes or while trying to read while in a car. I don't have that problem. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good night. Probably, Your Majesty. I feel you are entitled. You are a triple elite after all. I will eventually kill enough people to be triple elite. Just gotta get my murder count up. I've got my Wandering Around in Space Elite badge, and I've got my Exploiting the Lower Classes Elite badge. Now I just need to get my Murder Elite badge.
Heavy traffic around this facility. Proceed with caution.
No, I'm playing Horizons. I bought the lifetime subscription version way back in the day, so I get all updates that ever come out and never have to buy into again. I also get into all the beta testing, which is occasionally fun because you can do stuff in the beta test that then doesn't matter in the actual release. So you can just go to stations and start trying to blow stuff up and get killed and get huge bounties. And also, in the beta, everything only costs 10% of what it normally costs, so you can buy everything and play with it all. And then go back to the regular game and be poor again. Which I've heard of poor fools who didn't realize that the beta didn't persist, and so spent the entire month of the beta getting rich and buying ships and thinking they were going to have all this stuff, and then the official release came out and all of that stuff got erased. And they were less than amused. I found it hilarious. Oh yeah. Plus, it's a beta release. That's what that means. Did you think they were going to let you keep the 30 grand Anaconda? Yeah, I got some of the free paint jobs. We got the Black Friday one back in the day. So I do have black paint jobs for all my ships. My trade ship is, of course, painted gold, and is the INS Ostentatious, is my ship name. And my associate, the law speaker, is flying the Golden Hind, because he's a huge fan of all things historical piracy. Yeah, planet exploration is fun. The downside is, of course, when you're on the planet, you're driving around in a rover, and it makes me motion sick. I can fly all I want, but I get into the rover, and I'm good for about 15 minutes. The good thing is, if I'm not paying attention to where I'm driving, and I'm, you know, watching a movie or something, and just vaguely looking up at my radar screen, then I'm fine. But it does make, you know, cruising the planets much less fun. Murder. Yes. I need my murder badge. Murder. Yeah, I ran into one of those on my trip to the Rim. Those, like, thermal vents or something. Yeah, weird crystal formations and... Yep. Well, right now I'm doing trade. You can also do bounty hunting, piracy, fighting wars, do exploration. Mining. Mining is very lucrative now, apparently. I'm sure they'll nerf that eventually, but... exploration is a big one, because they mapped all 400 billion stars in the Milky Way galaxy into the game. And they're all explorable. You just can't actually get to them all, because you would die of old age before getting to a millionth of them. I read somewhere, I don't know if it's still the case, but at the rate players are currently exploring the galaxy, it would take us it was either 10,000 or 100,000 years to explore the whole galaxy. Yep. Longer than anyone is likely to be playing this game. But, as an example, here is roughly human inhabited space, and you can see all of the stars. Many, many, many stars. And here's what the core looks like. Stars. There's a lot of them. Space is big. Really big. Like, you just wouldn't believe how big it is. There we go. No Anaconda for you. I actually don't own an Anaconda yet. I've got a lot of ships, but I don't have all of them. I got all the small ones, of course, but I don't yet have all of the larger Federation ships, and I don't think I don't think I currently have a Clipper. The reason being is that we're still saving up for a really big ship that's yet to come out. We don't know how much it's going to cost. It would be amusing if it's way, way less than we think it is, and I suddenly have ignorant piles of expendable cash. But it wouldn't surprise me if they make it very expensive on account of the mechanic that it represents. We're just going to have to find more people to join our squadron. If only I had a way of recruiting people. If only. Sadly, there's just no way. Well, I can... It's not particularly easy to show off my ship. I mean, I can show you around vaguely around the cockpit. Oh, jeez. No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, you're dragging him, scraping his paint off, but that's what the peasant gets. I'm tempted to smack him with my wing on the way by. Smack! Like, I'm going under 100, I can do whatever abuse I want. However, if I can get the law speaker to hold still for a second, I can show you his ship, which is the same as mine. Well, it looks like he's changed his paint job. Can I turn on my lights? I can turn on my lights. Oh, there it is. Now I can see the gold lighting up. Okay, that's shiny. Indeed not. So this is an Imperial cutter, and in order to own one, you have to be at least a Duke in the Empire, I think, or is it higher than that? Duke, yeah. Which requires you to do a lot of grind in rank. Alright, enough of that. On with the trade run. For combat, we both tend to favor the Federal Corvette, which is also a ship that you can only have if you have a high enough rank. I believe you have to be an admiral in order to get a Corvette. Yeah, if you're not careful, you can indeed run out of fuel, especially during exploration. There are ways of dealing with that. One, having a fuel scoop allows you to collect fuel off of stars. If you completely run out of fuel, there's an organization of players that call themselves the Fuel Rats that you can call on for aid, and someone will fly out and bring you fuel. And they just started doing that because they were awesome, which is cool. And now they've become an official part of the lore of the game, which is really cool when developers do that sort of thing. It encourages people to do that sort of awesome stuff. So when you fly into the starports, there are billboards, and sometimes it'll now be advertising the fuel rats. Oh yeah, the Elite Dangerous, the original game came out in, I think, 1984. So it was not nearly so fancy. And then the next two games came out in 94 and 95, I believe. And then they waited 20 years until the technology caught up with what they wanted to do, and out comes Elite Dangerous. But the storyline is continuous. This is set in our galaxy. This is the Milky Way galaxy. You can go to the Sol system and see Earth if you have a permit. Sol requires a permit to get to. And yeah, you can see Earth, and you can see Mars, which has been completely terraformed. And now has more land mass than Earth, I believe. They didn't terraform the moon, and you can't land on the moon, but I assume that's so people don't use their dune buggies to draw dicks all over the moon. I was kind of expecting the moon to be fully colonized and basically be kind of like Coruscant, just be one giant biosphere. I believe it is currently the year like 3303, 3305. Yeah. I think the game launched in 3303, and it's now 3 years old. Something like that. That's got to be older. It's got to be older, cause. I don't know. But yeah, that's a very complicated lore. There are 3 major factions, and the names of which will prove to you just how big of nerds the developers are, because it's the Federation, the Alliance, and the Empire. And there are a lot of space stations that are named after nerdy things, like there was a George Lucas ring, and there's they keep adding new stations when. Yeah, when famous nerd icons pass away, they get a station named after them. So there's a Discworld station for when Terry Pratchett passed away, and there's now a station called Fisher's Rest for when Carrie Fisher passed away, and things like that that are just really classy and awesome. And a lot of the NPCs that you'll run into, they all have names, and they tend to be sometimes very obvious nerd references and sometimes very obscure nerd references. I've run into Jane Cobb. I've blown up Eccentrica Columbus. I've taken out Vladimir Putin. Stuff like that. And it's what I love about the game. Is it's clearly made by nerds for nerds, and they keep adding to it. When it first came out, it was a very simple game. But they keep coming out with major updates that really change how everything works and gives you more options. I am sure someday there will be a first-person shooter aspect to this game. I have no doubt of that. That eventually we'll be attacking space stations and first-person combat and boarding actions and stuff like that. Someday. Why are we here? Oh yeah? Leathery eggs. I was gonna say. No. That sounds like a bad idea. Actually, the very first time I ever played Elite Dangerous was on the Oculus, and yeah, made me motion sick. But I think that was less the virtual reality, because other virtual reality things haven't been a problem for me, and more the fact that I wasn't used to the joystick map. I was used to the way it worked back when I played X-Wing and TIE Fighter, where pushing the joystick to the side didn't make you do a barrel roll, it just made you yaw. And so every time I went to try to make my ship change directions, I'd go into a barrel roll, and it was very disconcerting. Though, I could be wrong, I haven't tried it on VR since, because I like being able to find my drink. My lieutenant plays it on the Oculus, and listening to him complain about not being able to find where he put his snacks down is amusing. Well, at least they're being subtle about it. So there's a commodity in the game that you can buy, a rare commodity, called leathery eggs. And they are available at the Ridley Scott station. That's the kind of nerds that are behind this game. Oddly enough, they're banned at most other stations. You have to smuggle them in. Yep. If you can take it to Wayland Port, they'll pay a high premium. They really should do that. It's some obscure little station on the very fringe, but it buys them for 1 billion credits each or something stupid. However, it's so far away from where you get them that there's like a 50% chance that you die on the way unexpectedly. Just your screen just suddenly goes splattered in red, and like you're dead. My birthday is on the 19th. Actually, I'm a Pisces. Yeah, I am the Aquarius Pisces cusp, but I'm on the Pisces side of it. Though it didn't used to be. I remember when I was a kid, when I was much younger, the cutoff was the 20th was the first day of Pisces, so it's shifted a day. The gnome is also on a cusp, and I think Stelina is too. No, nor should it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've known people who had that problem. I have no problem. I can read in a car and it's not a problem, but if I try to play a driving game, though if I play it long enough and truly get used to it, then I can. Yeah, there's a lot of comedy hidden in Elite Dangerous and the names of things and some of the audio in the background. Some of the stuff that pops up, like when You jump into a resource extraction site. You in a federal Corvette, and you drop a fighter, and your friend who's in your wing is in a federal Corvette, and he drops a fighter, and then your two other friends who drop in their own large fighters, and some pirate will come up to you and scan you like you're a miner, and then complain that you don't have cargo. And then you blow him up, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, I never saw this coming." The only thing I had planned for my birthday so far is cheesecake. Yes. At some point in my not too distant past, I discovered, wait, I can have cheesecake as my birthday cake? Why was I not told about this? My life has been a lie. I'm like 30 years behind on cheesecake. And I object. I should put that on my list. 2 cheesecakes a year. I have one in February and one in August. Now I've forgotten what I'm doing. I'm sitting here staring at the commodities button going, I should click this. Really. There's Annie. Well, as that sounds delicious, I hate driving, so I'm certainly not traveling on my birthday. What am I looking for? Trade dividends, contacts. Where are trade dividends? I see. Oh, here, there's an interstellar factor here. I'm gonna pick up my bounties. And you know what else? While I'm here, I'm going to visit the Universal Cartographer. I've got $500,000 in exploration. Alright. So I've got the scrap. Yes, I am going to the Penn State HVZ. They reached out to me, and apparently they're one of the larger invitationals. And I didn't have any other events in the Northeast yet. So I decided to add it. I also added an event in Minnesota. They're going to try to break the record for the largest blaster battle. They're going to give it a try. We'll see what happens. Which should be interesting, but that was the only... I didn't yet have an event in the northern Midwest. At the time I had West vs. Zombies, which is up here in the Pacific Northwest, Ragnar Oktoberfest, which is in the southeast, End War, which is in the south, or Ragnar Oktoberfest is in the southwest, End War is in the southeast, and then I was going to Jared's Epic Nerf Battle, which is in Texas, so the southern Midwest, and so I added the northeast and the mid-northwest, so I'm hitting all the places in the U.S. It's going to be a lot of travel, but I should get to meet a lot of people. The Minnesota War is apparently in Blaine. I don't know the details. I don't know if they've even been announced yet. End War is still looking. Last I heard, End War was still looking for a location. And West vs. Zombies is still negotiating for a location. The first big event I'll be going to is Jared's Epic Nerf Battle. Then Penn State. Then West vs. Zombies. No, then the Minnesota War, then West vs. Zombies, then End War, and then Ragnar Oktoberfest. I've got it all in my calendar, but plus 3 Afterworlds that I'm hoping to get to. One of them I can't get to because it's the same day as End War. I don't actually know yet. West vs. Zombies is only an hour from where I live. But frankly, I would just as soon probably camp. I mean, I've got a tent the size of some people's apartments. Yes, I am working on some fun builds. And that is all the information you're going to get out of me. I'm pretty sure they allow modded blasters, but I don't know to what extent. I would need to check that out, and I do know they do allow tac gear as far as I know. It'd be kind of weird for them to invite me and then go, no tactical gear or modded blasters. Yeah, there's just a whole bunch of people just floating about. Ah! There, I shouted. Not sure why they wanted me to shout. That's just weird. Where are all these messages? Why do I have messages? Reputation change. Reputation change. Did that say what I... Is this system controlled by the East India Company? Oh, I knew the profits had to be coming at a price. There goes our souls. The only thing that doesn't surprise me is that we're not selling slaves, frankly. Now, Jared didn't say I couldn't wear my... Well, he did kind of suggest I not wear my tac gear, but I wore it anyway. It wasn't him that said I couldn't use the modded blaster. It was Hasbro that said I couldn't use the modded blaster. He also said I was invited back this year, and Hasbro changed their minds on that one, too. Such is life. It really is because I'm scary looking. And because I'm not a big enough channel to be worth their time. Which is fair. Yeah. You just wait till I get my makerspace up and running. We have some plans for that. Oh yeah. Let's see. Contacts. Pick up some trade dividends here. Oh, a whole 50 grand. Buy myself a latte. I was going to have a root beer float this evening, and I have yet to do that. Let's see what's going on. Whatever happened to the Dart Zone Magnum you put K26 in? The Super Drum? I discovered that it cannot, in fact, support a K26 for more than about 10 shots. And it's currently in a bin somewhere waiting to get downgraded to something it can actually handle. Yes, I know you sent me pictures to my Instagram. I cannot check my Instagram. I'm flying. There is no Instagram in the future. The pictures are just beamed directly to your retinas. Oh, what do we got? Oh, it's going slowly but surely. I'm about halfway there, probably-ish. Just slowly saving up money. All this travel is not going to help, though. Yep. But the exposure that I will get. Plus I plan to make stuff to bring and sell. Which isn't going to make a lot of money, but, you know, it'll probably pay for my food. Maybe validate my parking. You know, I haven't had a Tyrant break yet, so who knows? What about plot twists? Reloading, modular, and internal magazines. What more do you want? What are you talking about? Yeah, my first impressions of the Shadow. I assume you mean the Shadow, not the Phantom. Yeah, the Shadow from the Phantom. No, it's not Phantom Core. It's Ghost Ops. Yeah, buzzwords, I tell you. My first impressions, I had issues with it because, one, it wasn't very powerful. It had some counterintuitive mechanisms, but once I discovered that no, this thing's catch mechanism is solid enough, you'd be able to put a pretty heavy spring in it and get it up to a decent thing. And if you then upgraded the breach, you could make it work even better. It does indeed have potential, and it's got that, you know, top reloading mechanism. It holds 6 rounds. Yeah, it could be a fun blaster to run if that was your style. Definitely for someone who likes running rather than carrying lots of magazines, to just be able to reload from a dump pouch or from the ground. It definitely has that. And if you like LEDs and having your blaster light up, well, then it's fantastic. There are some beautiful stars in this game. Pulsars are absolutely gorgeous to jump in on. Scary the first couple of times, yeah. And the white stars and the blue stars, those ones they're beautiful to jump in on. You don't see them a lot. I don't see them a lot when I go exploring because you can't scoop fuel off of them. So I set my system to automatically skip them. The scariest thing to jump in this game are black holes, because as you start to approach it in hyperspace, space goes wibbly, and then you actually jump into it and everything is wrong and light is bent and it's terrifying. And pretty much the moment you jump in, your whole ship systems go, this is bad, what are you doing, why are we here? Some purple-engined punk is jumping in front of me again. I take it you don't engage your autopilot until you're like right at the slot? Is that how this works? Yep, and I get here first, and then I have to wait in queue for you somehow. You know what? I'm gonna fly into the station and then engage my auto dock. I saw that. Sleep is for the weak. But have a good night. Like I said, you're triple elite. You're clearly more important. You were a king before I am. You got it knows. Buy and scrap. Of course they do. The Honorable East India Trading Company. Oh dear. China doesn't want to trade with us. I know. Let's get them all addicted to opium.
Ship released. Please observe safe speed when traversing the docking bay.
Why didn't China want to trade with us? You don't have anything they want. Ah. Well, we need to create demand. Let's turn them all into junkies. I mean, I could understand Britain's annoyance. 1/10 of all money in Britain at that time was going to China for tea. 1/10 of every... It is! I mean, that's an obscene amount of money to spend on tea. Surely they had leaves in England they could have boiled. Retribution for getting them, yes, hooked on chai. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, caffeine is one of the more addictive substances. So yeah, so there you go. So we brought alcohol to the Americas, North and South, and they gave us tobacco and coffee. I think they may have won on that one. By this point, they've probably killed more of us. It was a long game. They gave us that? Oh, that is from sheep, isn't it? Of course, we gave them smallpox. So... And we did it on purpose. We're not good people. History of Europe is perfectly summed up in one line from Disney's Pocahontas. These white men are dangerous. Nobody is to go near them. Yeah, no. I do like a good bit of, you know, I used to drink more tea. I drank a lot of mint tea to wake me up back when I actually needed to wake up in the morning. Now I can just stagger down at 10 a.m. and, you know, log in. Any emails? Oh, there's an email. So I've been trying to get up earlier. Well, except on Monday when I have that 8 a.m. meeting, so I have to be up at, you know, 7:55. Stagger down in my pajamas.
Relative pad 10. Automated approach engaged.
Well, see, I engage my auto dock when I'm 7.5 away, so it's really my own fault that I'm slow poking it in, but it gives me time to read the chat. And now I regret reading the chat. Somebody doing that uppercase, lowercase, uppercase, lowercase, uppercase, lowercase. Yeah, they should have their thumbs broken. Or rather, the whatever finger it is you use to engage shift lock, yeah, they should have that broken. Yeah, both pinkies. Yes. Yes, I've tried VR. I used to have it for my phone, which was cool. I had a little VR headset that I could put my phone in. Then I switched phones, and the new one doesn't work in it. But it was neat because you could engage Google Maps and just say a name of a place and be standing there. I love technology.
Contact confirmed. Clear to dispatch. Welcome to the station, Commander.
Well, then we're back to having your thumbs broken. He did it on his phone. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah? Hmm. The Cockney air traffic controllers. Where am I? Yep. I like that there is absolutely no shortage of polymers.
Detachment confirmed. Depart safely from the station.
Puns were once considered the height of sophistication and humor because it represented a greater grasp of language. In order to know the words that have... Yeah. We recently had a pun attack on Brian, Bria's husband. Yeah, he posted one of those, you know, Snapchat or Instagram or whatever filters that turns you into something. It turned him into a talking hot dog. And for some reason, said talking hot dog was quoting a scene from Silence of the Lambs about the lotion and the basket. I don't know why. No explanations were given as to why this hot dog was Buffalo Bill. But he was. This is probably true. The game actually has built-in tutorials. I recommend them. And Leora started it by going, I don't know what's going on here, but it's the worst. Worst spell, of course, with a U. Yeah. And then someone else said something, and Brian responded like, I didn't expect to be getting dogged this badly. To which I responded, hey, you brought this on yourself. It went downhill from there. Yeah. Bruce said, I don't know what's going on either, but I relish it. No, this is not a Fan Mail Friday week. That's every other week. And it will be next week. Oh, cheers. This Friday was featured fan builds. Oh, jeez. Somebody jumped out right in front of me and got bumped. I knew someone in the Empire of Adria whose character was, I can't remember his last name, but his first name was Rupp. R-U-P. And he got knighted. So he became Sir Rupp. What's going on there, Chris? Yeah. Roombas and pets really don't mix well. Yeah. The word schmear comes to mind. I accidentally hit the left side panel button instead of the map button to remap, and I noticed there was an anaconda. I was like, we should kill it! Wait, no, that would be bad. Get him! Hang on. We're in a station and I don't have guns on my ship. That is what we call bad plan. So Why have a pet when you can have a Roomba as your pet? They make Roomba sweaters. One step closer to the inevitable robot revolution.
Please refrain from reckless flying.
Oh yes. What? Okay. Oh yeah, that's a thing. I'm familiar. Oh yeah, the librarian in high school had one. She could watch into a room and literally all the monitors would fuzz for a second. It's like, what? Yeah, it's a thing. I'm well familiar with it. I worked IT. I worked IT in a hospital. Yes. Except she'll be the one they hunt first. That and us tech support guys, though she will be eliminated and will be rounded up and put into the slave pits. Oh, Skynet. We don't need a virus. We'll just bring her. Skynet just goes, you know what? I regret everything. I'm sorry. Those, it just occurred to me, those two planets are really close together. And you're getting attacked. Don't know. Maybe. I can see you jumping in right in front of me and just... Some valet in a spacesuit. Excuse me, sir. We have a VIP who needs to get parked. You're just going to have to wait in line.
Permission granted. Set course for landing pad 205.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I see the accent now. I like the Russian ones too. Sure, there's got to be a Scottish station somewhere. Played the X series? No, I only ever played up to VII. Wrong button. Come on. Give me out. Oh, jeez. Oh my. 12,000 credits in trade dividends. Wherever shall I? I'll tip the valet. We're about to have a... I'm gonna bounce this flippin' little ship. I'm dragging him with me. I'm gonna take him all the way to the next system. Just drag him through hyperspace. Don't even care. You know, I don't actually have an exact number on the auxiliary. On the Facebook page, we've cleared like 500 members. I think. I'm trying. 532 on the Facebook page, and I know there are people who aren't on the Facebook page, people who are, you know, just through YouTube, and people who are just through Discord, so... Yeah. 532 people spread out over 5 continents. The sun no longer sets on my army. Something slow and dirgeous and Russian sounding? No, something with some bounce to it. We want one of those ra-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta type anthems that you hear from, you know. Yeah. Yes. I assume you've seen that video, Bill Bailey's Minor Key. I want to know when that came out, because if that's brand new, that's genius. And if it's like 5 years old, it's even better. We had a sunny day just a few days ago, sir. It lasted for at least an hour and a half. One of my favorite lines from The Fiendish Plot of Dr. Fu Manchu. Is the weather always this piss poor? No! We have several bright days every year. Speaking of England, yeah. The one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism? I'm currently selling stuff that I bought for 77 credits for 8,800 to the East India Company. At least I'm no longer selling medicines at a 1,400% markup. And I have long since given up my slave trading days. Now I'm a war profiteer, thank you very much. Also, hi. Oh! Yeah, I miss Command and Conquer. That was a great series. I had a friend who lent me, I think it was the very first one, the original Command & Conquer, and he couldn't beat it's either the second to the last or the third to the last mission. The AI just always swarmed him and wiped him out. And he got so sick of it, he finally lent me the game. And I beat the game in like 4 days. And when he asked me how I did it, and I told him, he got morally incensed by the strategy that I used. Because I discovered the AI would only attack a wall if there was an enemy unit directly on the other side of the wall. They would then shoot at the wall so that they could get through the wall to shoot at whatever was behind it. But if there wasn't anything behind it, they would never just attack walls for the sake of attacking walls. Now, one of the downsides to Command & Conquer is you could only build buildings within a certain distance of another building. So you couldn't just build walls wherever you wanted to. You had to build them near other buildings. But you could build a chain of walls to wherever you wanted to. So I built a chain of walls all the way to where the enemy's base was. And it had a wall going all the way around it, except for right where the opening was, so that the units could get out. And I walled them in. And since I didn't put any gun turrets on the far side of the wall, they wouldn't shoot at it. And so they couldn't get to any resources, and they couldn't send their army out to attack me, and so they just got resource-starved. I then built a wall to the back corner of their base, out of range of all of their gun turrets, and built a barracks, and started pumping out engineers, and sent the engineers in to take out all of their power plants. Well, once they ran out of, they got to, they didn't have enough power, all of their gun turrets went down, and their shields went down, and then I just marched my army in and wiped them out. And he felt that that was taking advantage of the AI and wasn't a legitimate strategy. And I said, well, you can think that all you want. I've seen the ending cutscene. I've seen the ending cinematic. You want to know what it goes like? Don't you dare! How dare you! Yes. Yes. Coat Duck apparently thinks it's the most horrific strategy she's ever heard of. And I consider that one of the better compliments I've had this evening. Yeah. That would work. I mean, I understand where he was coming from. It wouldn't work against a human player. But this is the same guy who took offense to the fact that while playing Settlers of Catan, I traded somebody's Skittles for wood. He didn't see it that way. Like, you can't, like, he could give me the wood for free. He's not required to trade anything for it. So, you know. But that is where the phrase bringing Skittles to Catan came from within our gaming group as a means of bringing resources from outside the game in a potentially unfair manner. Thinking outside the box, it depends on where you put the wood, really. That is precisely... He also refused to play Clue with me again after one game. But that is because I successfully guessed who it was before it was even my turn. We were playing in a large group of people, so there was the potential to get a lot of clues from other people's turns if you know how to properly play Clue, which none of them did. So by the time it was my turn, I didn't even make a move. I just solved the... They didn't think that was fair. So... Yeah. So they decided to be sneaky and tried to trick me. And it worked. It took 2 whole turns for me to get it the second time. Because it turned out that it was Colonel Mustard in the library with the Hall. There was no weapon. There was just 2 rooms. But I figured it out in 2 turns. And that's when they decided we should play something else.
Permission granted. Not approved for approach to landing pad 2 and 4. Automated approach engaged.
No, I think they were talking about the traded sheep for chocolate. Yeah, good question. Which events are you going to? I assume you'll be at Endwar, and I assume you'll probably be at Ragnar Oktoberfest again. Isn't the PSU game is roughly in your neck of the woods, in a global geographic sense. Yeah, everything west of the Rockies or east of the Rockies is next to each other, right? Somebody asked me, which event is close to Ontario? Well, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Ontario is big. I then looked into it, and it turns out Ontario isn't even close to Ontario. I keep hitting the wrong barrier. You choked on your own laugh? Which part made you laugh? Why is your laugh solid?
Please exercise caution. Heavy traffic detected.
Fair enough. Well, yeah, isn't Florida border Georgia? Yeah. I have no idea where Jacksonville is in relation to Florida. Aren't the states over there all tiny?
You are now clear of station perimeter. Safe travels, Commander.
Good thing you weren't drinking something. You probably would have drowned. They nearly killed Kyle on his own coke once. I don't know what I said, but he lost it. He was sitting there gurgling. I thought he was gonna die. I think we were at Stephen Amar's place, so he didn't want to just spit it all over the, their living room. It was kind of scary to see. Steve, being a nurse, was like, "I know what to do. I've got a pen. I can fix this." I've set my goal at 1.6 billion, which I think will be maybe this loop, maybe one more. It has been a very long time since I had chocolate milk. Which, for the vast majority of my life, I thought Ovaltine was a mouthwash. A mouthwash. It just sounds like it should be the brand of mouthwash. Like Oral-B, but Ovaltine. Yeah. And then I discovered it was chocolate milk mix. It's like, what? Oh. See, I grew up on Nestle Quick Mix. So I like putting Nestle Quick Mix into vanilla ice cream to make chocolate ice cream. I particularly liked that flavor of ice cream. You're allergic to water? That is extremely awkward. Are you allergic to water in the way I'm allergic to mushrooms? Oh. Yeah. See, I'm not actually allergic to mushrooms. I just tell people that so they'll quit trying to get me to eat them. I actually don't tell them I'm allergic. I tell them that mushrooms and I disagree, and they assume that means that I'm allergic. The truth of the matter is that mushrooms seem to believe they have the right to exist on God's green earth, and I disagree. I agree with the scientists who think they may have actually come from another planet. Well, the good news is, should you join the auxiliary, I will inform our water bearers of the situation. Oh, good point. Did I meet my goal? Ah, 1.599. The worst part is I'm not even sure that a load of scrap will be enough to put me over. One more. Oh, wait! Oh! I should have checked my dividends. I probably have enough dividends. I did, but I can turn around. I'll bet anything I've got enough dividends, given how much we make on these trips. Which I believe is how much I would need, about 500,000. Alright, so I'll just fly out and fly back in again, because... oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. I'm stuck. Oh, God. Oh, no. I'm good. No, we're good. We're good.
You are in breach of Imperial mandate. You must clear the station confines immediately. Clearance denied.
Why is there a button to request docking if I am currently too close to request docking? Don't have the button if I can't poke the button.
You are clear for automated approach, Commander.
How difficult would it be to gray out the button? I was indeed dock blocked. I was, in fact, I was the one doing the dock blocking, but they have given me access to the slit again, so we're good.
Current approach vector is good, Commander.
Yes, I like building stuff. That's why I have an entire room full of Lego. And a hobby that involves building stuff. Ever heard of Crossout? Nope. Alright, let's try this again. What occurred? No. Let's say the scrap is... I doubt I bought enough scrap that was actually preventing me. Alright, let's see. What do we got? Oh, I got a whole million. We're set. And that's with a load of scrap. Yep. 1.600.608.739 billion credits. Billion. Alright. Yeah, I'm logging out. No idea. Good Lord. Such waste. Well, the humor has degraded slightly. I blame the drink. I need to top off my Stein. I've started collecting root beer mugs. So, yes, so this is my official A&W root beer mug, from which I'm drinking A&W. I also was at an A&W, and they were selling their, like, 100th anniversary or 50th anniversary or whatever ones for, like, $7. And you're like, yes, that's coming with me. And it all started because my previous boss, from when I worked in the hospital, still one of the best bosses I've ever had, sent me a Sprecher Stein. Along with a Sprecher shirt. Not only does he keep sending me cases of Sprecher, he got me Sprecher merch. Yeah. I did not nick one of the A&W mugs, thank you very much. I bought this on eBay from somebody who probably nicked it from a store. In hindsight, I should have just nicked one from the store. But I want to get a Barks mug. And I'd like to get a mug. In fact, you know what? It's my birthday month. I'm going for the Barks mug. I know there was one on eBay. Yep, there it is, still there. See, I like Barks for some things. For root beer shakes, they're absolutely the best. I don't prefer it for drinking if I'm eating food with it. Yeah. Except possibly pizza, because it's got the bite, so it goes well with the spice. Right there. Alright, I have acquired a Barks mug. It's... That's how the internet works. Alright, let's see if I can find a mug, root beer mug. The problem is, of course, it's just showing me root beer mugs, and not a mug root beer mug. Mugs. Somebody sent me a really cool Sprecher Stein. Unfortunately, it got broken in shipping. So it's decoration. Which is probably what it would have been used for anyway, because the other one's a... there's a Sprecher one. Silver Frost. Root beer mug. Graph. Triple X root beer mug. Oh. Oh, there's still people talking. Oh, I haven't shut down the stream. Hello? Ideal Nerf blaster? Well, Ire or Tier. I mean, there's a reason I built them. Uh-oh. Incoming snark. I can hear you typing snarkily, sir. Either of which is a perfectly legitimate option for me. Oh, okay. The Mug Root Beer gift set with ice cream scoop. I think that might be going a little far. I just want the mug. I have an ice cream scoop. Wonder if I put mug in here twice if it will pick that up. That's not how you spell mug. I don't know what, if you don't like green tea or root beer, you're obviously on different wavelengths and shouldn't even be mad at each other. What? What? That must have been the 100-year. Wow. For A&W. Root beer mug cufflinks. A mug root beer hat. That does me no good. Oh. Yeah, but then I'd have to drink a lot of mug root beer. Well, here's a neat one. What are they calling it? Let's try that. Mug root beer glass. Bangarang indeed, sir. Bangarang indeed. You know, I can see that mug being flat. I had never really considered the level of carbonation. What? Good Lord. So it is. Good plan. Hey, I started it. 1.6? Yeah. No, I've finished playing for the evening. And I'm now just sitting here surfing eBay looking for root beer mugs. And talking to you lovely folk. I'm probably hoping I'll do a trick. Sing a song, do a trick, you're useless. Alright, this is not working. Time to adjust the search settings. Oh, no, stop it. Do I have a Crimson Longshot yet? No, I have no interest in a Crimson Longshot. Now, if one showed up at Goodwill, I'd buy it. But... I don't need this anymore. He's gone. Who's ridiculous? I object. This spurless accusations. This shameless slandering of my character. Cough up the root beer mugs. That's a belt buckle. That's not a mug. Is it air freshener? Oh, lip balm. Root beer flavored lip balm. 12-pack. What? You have no evidence. You can prove nothing. Ah! Seems small. I'll take it. Oh, it's practically next door. It's in Oregon. You're still here? Are you still in there? Hello? Hello? Goodbye. Strange individual. That's why I enjoy his company. Buy me the thing. Buy. What do you prefer to being called by? What? I don't know where my phone is at the moment. Nope. Could be anywhere. It depends on who's calling me it, really. I mean, my family call me by my real name. I've got friends who have known me for half of my life who call me Zav, because they're used to that. People call me Captain Xavier, Sir, hey you, schmuck. Yes, the breakfast is lovely, but why are you in my house? You know, people call me all sorts of things. 30 retaliators? Like, all at once? Or 30 individual retaliators from different sources? Most of the crew call me Sir on Reflex at this point. Which is really awkward when you're, you know, going on a date with somebody who doesn't know you're the captain of a mercenary company, and you go into a restaurant and the waiter is a member of the crew and they call you Sir. It weirds them out. Of course, that hasn't happened in a decade. I'm gonna guess it's long and skinny and has a barrel and a trigger. No, it's been a decade since I was on a date with somebody who didn't know I was the captain of a mercenary company. I think it's been 2 years since I've been on a date, give or take. Press X to doubt what? Nothing exciting going on here. Why is this still tiny? I mean, I could make it bigger, but then you'd have to look at me. You'd think that, but it turns out, being a 36-year-old man with social anxiety and depression, as well as being an extreme introvert whose hobbies are Lego and Nerf, aren't really that much of a marketable dating scheme, it turns out. Yeah, I still do medieval stuff from time to time. Not as often as I used to. I mean, it used to be all I did was medieval stuff, and then, you know, I injured my back ballroom dancing, and I can't wear my armor anymore, so haven't done it as much. I was not the Duke of Normandy and Flanders, I was the Duke of Alhambra, and later the Archduke of Alhambra. Is there any plans for the future I have going on? No! No plans whatsoever. Other than bacon. I have plans for bacon. Yeah. Oh yeah, I've had dating profiles for a decade. And in that decade, they have gotten me a grand total of 2 dates. Three dates. I'm not good at this. What is your least favorite food? Anything with mushrooms in it. Sock Guy was a great... I miss Sock Guy. I never got to see him use his chainsaw in battle. I hope it served him well. In the same amount of time? Yeah, one of the dates I went on ended up having some issues paying because my debit card got canceled because somebody in France had hacked my card and attempted to buy the most ostentatious pimp shoes you have ever laid eyes upon. And my bank was like, I don't think he's in France buying pimp shoes. We should probably flag this. Luckily, it was a restaurant I went to, so it was one of the advantages of a small town. They're just like, I will just bill you next time. Have a nice evening. I wish I knew I still had a picture of those shoes. They were magnificent. No. No, I do not have a Twitter. I have an Instagram, I have a Facebook. That's quite enough. I have a YouTube channel. You may have heard of it. Yeah, boring people suck. I used to be more interesting. I used to have emperors tortured by witches, you know, who were also my tax lawyers. They liked hurting people. I'm currently trying to find the French shoes. Can I make this thing... Well, that's not what I'm looking for. Those. Some crook in France tried to buy those with my debit card. I don't have a fort. My workshop is referred to as the undisclosed bunker. When I finally get my own place, there will be forts. I think they're like $1,400 shoes or something like that. I'm 10.5. And if you're going to make me those, make them in an orange hue. Yeah, I haven't come up with a name for it because I haven't actually used it in anything but that video, so... Yes, that would be terrifying. That's why we don't do that anymore. We just kind of agreed. Can we not? Good night. Card games? I always liked Egyptian Rat Screw. That was something the crew used to play a lot. We had special decks that was just made up of the remains of mangled previous decks. And it got violent. Weapons were no longer allowed at the Rat Screw table for good reason. Munchkin. I'm a huge fan of Munchkin. That's a card game. Never got into Magic. That was never for me. But played most of the versions of Munchkin that have existed. Friend and I used to play a lot. And we only ever played against each other. Just the two of us would play. And so all of the bad things I had got thrown at him, and all of the bad things he had got thrown at me. And then once we ended up playing with a third person, and we both threw everything at them and just completely obliterated them for an entire game. And we felt bad about it, so we don't do that anymore. Probably. If only there was a way you could find out. Yes. Apparently there is. Yes, I have played much D&D in my life. I'm not currently in any campaigns. I'm also a huge fan of a game called Carcassonne. I need to find more people to play Carcassonne with. You know, I have a wizard hat around here somewhere. I think it's in my garb trunk. I have a really nice wool cloak as well. I sewed it myself. Carcassonne is a walled city in the south of France. Carcassonne is a board game about a walled city in the south of France. And I've actually been there. I stayed at a Best Western inside the walled city. There is a Best Western hotel inside the walled city. And that's where we stayed. I went to a nightclub somewhere along the wall. It was lovely. Then we got up early and left the next day. We were supposed to be there for a whole nother day. Got to Italy an entire day early. Had to sleep in the car. It sucked. Someday I will return to Carcassonne, and I'm going with better company. Well, yes, it would be pronounced Carcassonne if you are talking in a French accent, of course, but I wasn't bothering with the accent because my French accent is atrocious, as I have not practiced in a decade. There was a time when I used a French accent so much, there were people who had known me for a year and a half and thought I actually had a French accent. But yes, Carcassonne. Just put lots of Z's in it. The idea of castles being useful in a major apocalypse is enticing. The problem with most of them is that they're not currently equipped to withstand a siege. They don't have stores of water. They don't have stores of food. Most of the fortifications are not fully intact anymore. In all likelihood, if you were to hold up in one, everyone inside would die of disease in about a month. Oh, let's see, where else have I been? I have been to Chambord. which is the palace in France that was designed by Leonardo da Vinci. I have been to Chaumont. That apparently I don't know how to spell. Chaumont, not Chaumont. Another distinctly fairy tale castle in France. I have been to Chenonceau. Which is a bridge and a palace. It was a hunting lodge built by the Queen of France for the King of France, so he would have somewhere to go hunting and meet his mistress, because French. The small tower there is now a museum for Joan of Arc. I have been to Amboise. Is there a good picture of Amboise? Helps if you spell Amboise correctly, apparently. I believe that's actually the Loire River, not a lake. This is Amboise, which is where they think Da Vinci might be buried. They're not sure he's actually in there. I'm pretty certain he just got back in his time machine and went home. But there's supposedly a tunnel that connects this castle to his workshop, which is another place in the city that I've been to, which is awesome. I've been to Baynac, that I'm not going to be able to spell. There it is, Baynac. This one is not a palace. Baynac is a fortress. This is one that was built by soldiers in a time of war, and it looks like it. Very simple. And right across the river is the fortress of Castelnaud. In fact, you can see Baynak in the distance across the river there. This one was built by the English. They were built during the 100 Years' War, each on opposite sides of the river, and they would constantly go out and fight each other. And you can see the very distinct architectural difference between the French castle and the English castle, and it's absolutely fascinating. I have been to... Oops. And that is not the one I'm thinking of. Where's a good picture? There we go. I've been to Chinon, which I believe is where Richard the Lionheart died. I have been... No, never been to Australia. I've been here. This is the walled city of Lucca. The walls are so thick, there is a forest growing on top of them. Those trees are on top of the wall. And there's a road up there, and you can ride bicycles along it while you eat your gelato. It's lovely. This one was built once in the age of gunpowder. So they needed to make the wall... The walls didn't need to be high anymore. They needed to be thick. So they were made huge, and they have those... spade-style protrusions that would then have their own cannons on them that could fire down the rest of the wall, and people couldn't attack easily. Where else have I been? I have been to Mass in the cathedral at Chartres. Which was fascinating because it was being conducted by some ancient archbishop surrounded by 6 younger bishops who were all waiting for him to die so they could fight to the death for the cathedral. And it's interesting because the bell towers are asymmetrical. Having never been in a cathedral before, the first time I walked into one, and you walk through the doors and you find yourself looking up at that. And it's sort of a, oh, house of God. Gotcha. When you've only been in small American churches your whole life, the first time you walk into a cathedral, it's very humbling. And you realize that they built this without trigonometry. I drove through the No, I have not been to the Maginot Line. We came into France at Normandy by ferry. And so we came in behind the Maginot Line. No, I haven't been to Notre Dame because we didn't go anywhere near Paris. We went around Paris. Let's see, I have been to... I've been to the cathedral at Bayeux, which is also where the Bayeux Tapestry is, and I have seen the Bayeux Tapestry. And what I found absolutely baffling is that I knew it was long, because I'd seen, you know, all the pictures of the Bayeux Tapestry. I didn't realize how big it was. It's 3 feet tall, 100 feet long. It's enormous. That is not what I wanted. I wanted the picture. Thank you very much. I have been to the Duomo in Milan, which is white and looks like it's made out of ice cream and has so many statues, it's absolutely staggering how many human-sized statues adorn the Duomo. One more, and then I think I'm going to go to bed. But this is one worth saving till the end. No, I've never been to the UK. I have been to Ireland. That's where we landed. We landed in Ireland, spent a week driving around Southern Ireland, going to pubs and looking at old piles of rocks. Took a ferry to France, spent a week in France, driving through France, visiting palaces and fortresses, and then spent 2 weeks in northern Italy, driving around, looking at walled cities and cathedrals and Colosseums. We saw a couple of Colosseums in Italy. Not the Colosseum, because we didn't go as far south as Rome. This is Mont Saint-Michel, and it is a fortress monastery built on an island in the English Channel. And at night, which is when we first got there, it was night, they light the whole thing up. If any place in the world inspired Minas Tirith, it would have been Mont Saint-Michel, because it is multiple layers of walls. You can see the lowest wall. There are then at least 2, if not 3, additional walls within it. Yes, Tolkien fought in World War I. His son fought in World War II, I believe. And a lot of his writings were obviously inspired by both of those, as you couldn't live through that time and not have it affect you. Really, that was the excuse to start World War I. I like Blackadder's explanation that the reason World War I happened was it had become too much trouble not to have a war. If you've never read World War I as a bar fight, I highly recommend it. It is not only hilarious, it is disturbingly accurate. Yeah, pretty much. I left it running. Somebody asked me about board games. I mentioned Carcassonne. Next thing you know, I'm telling everyone about my trip to Europe. I know I should go to bed, but here we have World War I as a bar fight. Germany, Austria, and Italy are standing together in the middle of a pub when Serbia bumps Austria and spills Austria's pint. Austria demands that Serbia buy it a whole new suit because of the new beer stain on its trouser leg. Germany expresses its support for Austria's point of view. Britain recommends that everybody calm down a bit. Serbia points out that it can't afford a whole new suit, but offers to pay for the cleaning of Austria's trousers. Russia and Serbia look at Austria. Austria asks Serbia who it's looking at. Russia suggests that Austria should leave its little brother alone. Austria inquires as to whose army will assist Russia in doing so. Germany appeals to Britain that France has been looking at it, and that it's sufficiently out of order that Britain not intervene. Britain replies that France can look at whoever it wants, that Britain is looking at Germany too, and what is Germany going to do about it? Germany tells Russia to stop looking at Austria, or Germany will render Russia incapable of doing so anymore. France and Britain ask Germany whether it's looking at Belgium. Turkey and Germany go off into the corner and whisper. When they come back, Germany makes a show of not looking at anybody. Germany rolls up its sleeves, looks at France, and punches Belgium. France and Britain punch Germany. Austria punches Russia. Germany punches Britain and France with one hand, and Russia with the other. Russia throws a punch at Germany, but misses and nearly falls over. Japan calls over from the other side of the room that it's on Britain's side, but stays there. Italy surprises everybody by punching Austria. Australia punches Turkey and gets punched back, but there's no hard feelings because Britain made Australia do it. France gets thrown through a plate glass window, but gets back up and carries on fighting. Russia gets thrown through another window, gets knocked out, suffers brain damage, wakes up with a completely different personality. Italy throws a punch at Austria and misses. Austria falls over anyway. Italy raises both fists in the air, runs around the room chanting. America waits until Germany is about to fall over from sustained punching from France and Britain, then walks over and smashes it with a bar stool and pretends it won the fight all by itself. By now, all the chairs are broken. The big mirror over the bar is shattered. Britain and France and America agree that Germany threw the first punch, so while the whole thing is Germany's fault. While Germany is still unconscious, they go through its pockets, steal its wallet, and buy drinks for all their friends. It's ridiculously accurate. All right. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Going to bed. Why are you still here? I have excuses. You have no excuses. What are your excuses? We're good at that. We're always showing up late to all the big wars. You know, I think I have. Yes. I had that game when I was a wee child, or rather my grandmother had it. And that's pretty much all I would do when I went to visit her, was just play that game the whole time. Alright, that's it. I'm leaving. Gotta go to sleep. Got bacon in the morning. Probably some videos. Maybe working some mods. Mostly bacon, though. Bacon. Good night.